I had just spent a few days in Austin visiting some old friends. I live in Louisiana, so it's a long, all-day drive back. On my last day there, I posted an Instagram story. A comment popped up. It was from Tom, an old high school friend. "When are you heading out?" he asked. "Today," I replied. He told me he lived just an hour outside Austin, in the exact direction I'd be heading. I hadn't seen Tom in years. We were good friends back in high school, but after graduation, we drifted, followed each other on social media, but hadn't spoken in ages. When he invited me to stop by, I figured, why not? It'd be nice to catch up. I set my GPS for his place. An hour-and-a-half drive. Not bad. When I pulled up, his house looked aged. Not run down, just old-fashioned. The wooden porch creaked beneath my steps. When he opened the door, I caught the scent. Old wood and something else. Something rustic, like an old cabin tucked deep in the woods. Tom was warm, welcoming, gave me a big hug, pulled me inside. Some friendships just stay intact, no matter how many years pass. The inside of the house matched the outside. Furniture that looked like it hadn't been moved since the 1970s. The hardwood floors groaned under every step. It felt Texan, but charming, like stepping into a different time. We settled in the living room, started talking, drinking whiskey. By then, it was 5 p.m. One drink turned into two into three. And before I realized it, I was pretty drunk. The whiskey brought warmth, but also a heaviness. The room felt smaller, closer. Time passed like water slipping through fingers. We were laughing, reminiscing, and then he said it. "Man, you've got a long drive back. Why don't you crash here for the night?" I hesitated, but he was right. I wasn't in any condition to drive. "Yeah, good idea," I said. "Mind if I take the couch?" "Nah," he smiled. "Got a spare room. Nothing fancy, but it's better than the couch." That was good enough for me. We ordered Chinese, ate on the couch, and after a while, he showed me to the guest room. I was too hammered to pay attention to the details, but I do remember how still the air was. Like no one had been in that room for a long time. I barely made it to the bed before everything faded to black. Then, sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up. My mouth was bone dry, my head spinning. The room was pitch black, except for a faint wash of moonlight slipping in through the blinds. And that's when I saw it. In the far corner of the room, on the closet door, something was hanging. At first I thought it was just a coat, a long black trench coat on a hook. But the shape felt wrong. It had width, it had shoulders, and the way it hung, it didn't look like fabric. It looked like a silhouette. My heart started racing. I didn't remember seeing that when I collapsed into bed. But then again, I'd been drunk. Maybe I just hadn't noticed. I rolled over, telling myself it was nothing, just a coat, that's all. But I had to look again. Still there. I shut my eyes tight, took a deep breath, forced myself back to sleep. I don't know how long I was out, but I woke up again. And this time it wasn't thirst or a spinning head. It was a sound, a soft, slow creaking, like someone stepping gently on an old wooden floor. My eyes snapped open. The room was still dim, but daylight was beginning to bleed in. I turned my head toward the corner, and my stomach dropped. The coat was gone. I sat up so fast, my head nearly split open. My heart was hammering, my skin buzzing with fear and leftover whiskey. I scanned the room. The corner was empty, the closet door bare. I threw the covers off and ran to Tom's room. He was snoring, still out cold from all the drinking. I shook him hard. He blinked awake, groggy and confused. The coat, I said, breathless. There was a coat in the spare room, black, hanging on the closet. It looked like a person. He sat up, rubbing his eyes. What coat? He asked. The trench coat, black, on the closet door. It was hanging there when I woke up. It looked like someone was standing there. Tom looked more alert now. He frowned. Dude, I don't own a trench coat, and I don't even have a coat rack in that room. I stared at him, waiting, hoping he'd crack a smile, say it was a joke, say he was messing with me. But his face stayed still, completely serious. Come look, I said. He sighed, but followed me back down the hall. I pointed at the exact spot. It was right there. Tom scratched his head. You sure you weren't dreaming? I know what I saw, I said, my voice shaking just a bit. I woke up. It was there. I woke up again. It was gone. We stood there in silence, a heavy, eerie quiet pressing down on us. Finally, Tom nodded. Let's check the house. We searched everywhere, every room, every closet, every corner. Nothing. No sign of forced entry. No black coats. No coat racks. Nothing. Eventually, he tried to convince me. I just had a vivid, half-awake dream. And maybe he was right. Maybe it was the alcohol, the unfamiliar room, my imagination. I wanted to believe that. I really did. As soon as the sun was fully up, I grabbed my stuff, said a quiet goodbye, and hit the road. But the whole drive back to Louisiana, my mind kept replaying that image. That dark hanging shape in the corner, those broad shoulders, that heavy silence, and how it was just gone. Maybe it was a cruel prank. Maybe he lied, but he's never admitted to anything, not even years later. Or maybe, just maybe, there was someone in that house that night, watching me, waiting. And they decided to leave before the morning came.